As the year rolls on, we're getting closer and closer to the NBA draft, and there looks to be a good crop of young talent set to make their mark next season. You have the likes of Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, and Jalen Green, who already look super promising. But then, we have a player who looks extraordinary compared to those three. That player is, of course, Cade Cunningham. Coming out of Oklahoma State after a one-and-done season, Cade looks far and away the best prospect in this year's draft. Between his elite defense and his silky offense, Cade has all the potential to accelerate any team's rebuild and make them a potential playoff team just on his skill set alone. And I'll explain why in this video. But before we do continue with the topic, if you do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a big like and subscribe. We are very close to that big 700 sub milestone, so it'd be awesome if we could potentially hit it off this video. But let's now talk about why Cade Cunningham will be a superstar in the NBA. So yeah, in my eyes and a lot of scouts' eyes, Cade Cunningham is easily, far and away, the best prospect of the 21 NBA draft. He comes in at 6'8" with a 7-inch wingspan, and he plays the point guard role to a T. And especially in an era today where it's positionless basketball, he is just such a versatile player in any lineup. He can play the guard, he can play the shooting guard, put him at small forward, you name it, he will succeed in that area. In his one season at Oklahoma State, we saw Cade put up 20 points a game, 3.5 assists, 6 rebounds, 44% field goal, 40% from the three, 1.5 steals, and a block per game. So right off the bat, you can see those are pretty impressive numbers. But what the best thing about Cade is, he is an elite defender. One of the best defenders in this class, if not the best defender. He can guard multiple positions, put him on the perimeter, he'll do fine there. Put him against the post, against bigger plays, he's gonna hold his ground there. So he's just a very valuable asset. He can score in a variety of ways. I said before, he averaged 20 points, 44% field goal, that's average in the NBA. Obviously college is a bit different, NBA is different gravy, but he will still probably put up 20 points next season in the NBA. I don't see why he can't. He just seems like one of those players, he has all the tools to succeed in the NBA level. I know Markelle Fultz, he averaged I think 21 points for Washington State, and obviously he didn't pan out the way everyone thought he would, including myself, but you say injuries derailed him, but Fultz never looked mature enough for the NBA at first glance, you could say. Cade is different. Cade looks so mature. He plays at such a nice game, nice settled tempo, and he shoots 44% from the field, obviously 40% from three on around 6 attempts per game. And obviously you know how the NBA paces nowadays. It's all about the three ball. Every year we see an increase in the 3-point attempts, so Cade is going to fit in well with the NBA style of shooting threes. And the crazy thing is with Cade, right, scoring is not his best attribute according to some scouts. It's actually his playmaking skills. And yeah, you might look at the stats and see he only averaged 3.5 assists, right, but the stats just don't do it justice. He just always seems to make the right play. A player I like to think of when I watch basketball, the best playmaker there is in the league, you watch him every time and he'll always make the right decision, that's LeBron James. And that's the vibes I get with Cade Cunningham. He's just always looking to pass the ball. And yeah, 3.5 assists. Doesn't look eye-popping. Looks pretty ordinary for a point guard in the NBA. But once again, the stat for it just doesn't do it justice. You ask any of the top scouts, they'll say Cade Cunningham's worst attribute is probably his unselfishness. Which is insane because he only averaged 3 assists and 20 points. But I'm telling you right now, the kid is an elite playmaker. And it's just going to be so good to be in the NBA. He's got an NBA ready body. He can defend 1 through 3 and probably a bit of the 4 and 5. He can play make like an elite point guard. He can score with the best of them. I'd have to say his biggest weakness is his slashing. And even though that's still pretty good, but that's his biggest weakness. So it's like any team in the lottery that wins Cade Cunningham, their acceleration in their rebuild is just going to skyrocket tenfold because the kid just has a flat out instinct on how to hoop, and he's a winning player. He's going to contribute right from the start, and I reckon any team that lands Cade Cunningham, no matter how shit the rest of the roster is, they'll be a shout to make the playoffs regardless, just on Cunningham's skill set alone. So which team could Cade get drafted to? Which team could use his skill set? Let's face it, all 30 teams would love to have Cade Cunningham, but I've narrowed it down to 3 lottery teams that he would best be suited to, that I feel like he would be. So the first team on the list, we have the Houston Rockets, and they already got a nice little young core going of Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., Amani Brooks, and Jay Sean Tate. Why not add Cade Cunningham to that list? The Rockets' backcourt for the next decade would be set. Kevin Porter Jr.'s expressed interest staying long-term with Houston via one of his tweets lately, and Cade and Porter at the 2-guard positions. That is nasty in itself. And that is if they both start. I think John Wall, I reckon they would put him a 6-man role if they're still rebuilding, that is. It'll just be a nice glimpse of what the future of the Houston Rockets could look like for the next decade or so. For the next team we have on the list, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So a bit of the hometown cooking. Obviously he played for the Oklahoma State, so he wouldn't have to leave the area. So straight off the bat, the fit with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that is mean. I mean, 2 massive guards. I mean, I think Shai Gilgeous is 6'6", 6'7", and obviously Cade is 6'8", so right off the bat, you have length. You have 2 explosive scorers, and that's great because SGA, you look at the Oklahoma roster, he's by far and away their best scorer. So it takes pressure off SGA as the ball handler. It gives Cade, a nice position to grow in Oklahoma. And it'll just be a fun fit to watch. Gives them another nice core going. Obviously, they got Pokachevsky there. They got, obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Moses Brown. But what it really intrigues me about that is Lou Dort and Cunningham in the lineup. That is just clamps personified, and that'll just be fun watching them lock up the league's best players every single game. And the last team I got on this list, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And obviously they're still struggling to find their feet after, their best player ever, LeBron James, departed in 2018. So Cade would be the face of that Cavs franchise. Obviously they got Colin Sexton and Darius Garland going around, but they're a nice little 1-2 punch combo. But you put Cade in that lineup too, ooh boy, that's nice. And then you factor in Jared Allen being the Cavs long-term center. You got a core 4 right there. Colin Sexton, Garland, Cade, and Jared Allen. Kevin Love, you could argue, might get better this season, or next season, sorry, but personally I think he's cooked. He just hasn't looked the same since LeBron's last season, truth be told. So I mean, it'd be interesting. Would they run Sexton 6-man? Maybe Garland 6-man? I'm not too sure. But what I am sure about, you put Cade on the Cleveland Cavaliers, they become a playoff threat. I believe, obviously, if they made the playoffs, it'd be like the 8th or 7th seed. But I know they won't be dog shit in the bottom 3 like they've been pretty much every year since LeBron's left. So if he gets on the Cavs, power to them. That will be a fun team to watch. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for me this video. Obviously, let's recap. He's an elite defender, elite passer, can score at will, and that just ticks all the boxes for any NBA team in 2021. I believe any team that nabs him will be successful in the few years. Future All-Star, future All-NBA player, future All-Defensive player. The point is, Cade Cunningham is a beast. Maybe a generational talent, you could say. And I look forward to watching him progress in his NBA career. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me get to 700 subscribers. But that'll do it for me, guys. Till next time, it's been Russo NBA. Peace.